Captain Lee Taman stood at the command center window watching the distant stars. New Sol was quiet tonight. The colony had grown well over the past 50 years. 3 million humans now called this world home. The cities were bright and peaceful. Children played in parks that their grandparents had built from nothing. Then the alarm rang. "Sir, we have ships coming in," said Officer Park Ji-ho from his station. "Big ones. They're damaged." Lee Taman turned to the screens. He had been colony defense coordinator for 8 years. He had seen many ships come and go, but never anything like this. The ships were huge. Each one was the size of a small city. Their hulls were cracked and burned. Strange blue light leaked from the damaged sections. There were 12 ships in total, moving slowly toward New Sol. "Are they human ships?" Lee Taman asked. "No, sir. The design is unknown. They're sending a message on all channels." Dr. Park Sojin hurried into the command center. She was the colony's best expert on alien life. Her team had studied every species known to humans. She looked worried. "Captain, I've been watching the readings. These ships contain life forms I've never seen before. Their energy patterns are unlike anything in our files." The main screen flickered. A face appeared that made everyone in the room step back. It was tall and thin with skin that looked like crystal. Its eyes were large and bright blue. When it spoke, its voice was like music mixed with wind. "Humans of New Sol," the being said. "I am Elder Cathara of the Velnari people. We come to you not as conquerors, but as refugees. We seek sanctuary in your space." Lee Taman felt his heart beat faster. First contact with a new alien species was supposed to happen slowly, with careful planning. This was not planned at all. "Elder Cathara," he replied, trying to keep his voice steady. "I am Captain Lee Taman. Why do you need sanctuary?" The alien's face showed pain. "We have been cast out from the Galactic Confederation. They say we are dangerous. They say we built forbidden weapons. This is not true, but they will not listen. We have nowhere else to go." Dr. Park Sojin moved closer to the screen. "How many of your people are with you?" 50,000 Velnari are in these ships. "We are all that remain free. Our homeworld has been sealed. Our colonies have been taken. The Confederation gave us one choice: surrender to prison or leave forever." Lee Taman felt the weight of the moment. 50,000 refugees was not a small number. New Sol could handle them, but barely. And if the Galactic Confederation was angry with these people, helping them could bring trouble. "Elder Cathara, I need time to discuss this with my government. Can you wait in orbit while we talk?" "We can wait, but not for long. Many of our people are sick. Our ships are failing. We need help soon." The transmission ended. The command center was quiet for a moment. "Sir," said Park Ji-ho, "I'm getting another signal. This one is from the Galactic Confederation." A new face appeared on screen. This one looked like a large lizard with golden scales. Its voice was cold and angry. "Humans, this is Ambassador Theknor of the Confederation Council. You are harboring dangerous criminals. The Velnari must be turned over to us immediately." Lee Taman did not like being ordered around. "Ambassador, they have requested sanctuary. We need to investigate their claims before making any decisions." "There is nothing to investigate. The Velnari were developing planet-killing weapons. They are a threat to all civilized species. If you help them, the Confederation will consider humanity an enemy as well." The threat was clear. Humanity had worked hard to join the galactic community. They had trade agreements and defense treaties with many worlds. Losing that would hurt badly. But Lee Taman looked at the damaged Velnari ships on his screen. They looked like they were falling apart. These did not look like dangerous weapon builders. They looked like people running for their lives. "Ambassador, we will consider your words, but we will also consider our own laws about helping refugees." Theknor's eyes went cold. "Choose carefully, humans. The galaxy is watching." That transmission also ended. Dr. Park Sojin was already working at a computer terminal. "Captain, I'm reading their ships more carefully now. They're not just damaged from fighting. They're sick. The Velnari energy patterns are getting weaker. If we don't help them soon, many will die." Lee Taman called an emergency meeting with the Colony Council. For 3 hours, they argued. Some council members wanted to send the Velnari away. The risk was too high, they said. Others wanted to help but were afraid of the Confederation. Dr. Park Sojin spoke to the council about what she had learned. "The Velnari are dying without something from their homeworld. Some kind of energy crystal that keeps them healthy. They've been cut off from it for months. Children are getting sick first. That changed things. When people heard about sick children, the argument shifted. Lee Tae-min made his decision. He contacted Elder Cathara again. Elder, we will offer you temporary sanctuary. You can land your ships on our northern continent. It's empty land, but it has fresh water and good soil. We'll help your sick people and give you time to rest. Elder Cathara's crystal face showed relief. Captain Lee Tae-min, your kindness will not be forgotten. But are you sure? The Confederation will be angry. Let them be angry. People need help and we're going to give it. Dr. Park So-jin smiled. This was why she loved working with humans. When things got tough, they usually chose to help instead of turning away. The Velnari ships began their descent to New Sol's surface. As they landed, Lee Tae-min wondered what he had started. Would this decision save lives or bring war? Only time would tell. But as he watched the first Velnari families step onto human soil, carrying their sick children, he knew he had made the right choice. Sometimes being human meant taking risks to help others, even if those others had crystal skin and came from the stars. 6 months had passed since the Velnari ships landed on New Sol. The northern continent was no longer empty. A city of white and blue buildings had grown where there had been only grass and trees. The Velnari worked fast when they were healthy. Engineer Kim Dong-woo walked through the new settlement every morning. His job was to help connect Velnari technology with human power systems. It was harder than anyone had expected. The energy flows in patterns I don't understand, he told Dr. Park So-jin over their daily coffee. Their computers don't use electricity like ours. They use something that feels alive. Dr. Park So-jin nodded. She had been working just as hard to help the sick Velnari. Dr. Choi Young-mi and I think we're close to a breakthrough. The crystals from their homeworld store a special kind of energy. We might be able to make artificial ones. The work was important because many Velnari were still sick. Without their homeworld crystals, they grew weak and tired. The children were getting better with human medicine, but the adults needed something more. Kim Dong-woo had become friends with a Velnari engineer named Lyrian. They worked together every day, trying to solve the power problems. Lyrian was young for his people, only about 50 years old. He was curious about human technology and asked many questions. Your people are strange, Lyrian said one afternoon as they worked on a power converter. You help us even though we bring you trouble. Not that strange, Kim Dong-woo replied. If your people were in our situation, wouldn't you help? Lyrian was quiet for a moment. Many of my people would be afraid. The Confederation taught us that unknown species are dangerous. Maybe that's why you're here and they're out there. The friendship between humans and Velnari was growing. But it wasn't easy for everyone. Many humans were still afraid of the tall crystal beings. Some Velnari missed their old life and blamed humans for their troubles. But the children were different. Human children were curious about everything, and Velnari children were just as playful as human ones. Soon, kids from both species were playing together in the settlement's parks. Dr. Choi Young-mi watched this happen with wonder. She was a doctor who had spent her life studying how different species lived. The way human and Velnari children played together gave her an idea. So Jin, she said to Dr. Park one evening, I think I understand something important. When the children play together, the Velnari kids get stronger. Their energy patterns improve. Dr. Park So-jin looked at the data Dr. Choi had collected. You're right. But why? I think human neural patterns somehow help stabilize Velnari energy fields. We're biologically compatible in ways we never expected. This discovery changed everything. If humans could help Velnari stay healthy just by being near them, the artificial crystal project became much easier. They could build crystals that worked with human-Velnari cooperation. The breakthrough came when a Velnari artisan named Nisandra started teaching human children to make energy sculptures. The sculptures were beautiful, shapes of light that moved and danced in the air. But more importantly, when humans and Velnari worked together to make them, both groups felt better and stronger. Kim Dong-woo was amazed when he saw his first energy sculpture. This changes everything. If we can use this cooperative energy in our machines, we could power the entire colony with clean energy. Lyrian finished. My people have dreamed of such partnership for generations. The news spread quickly through both communities. Soon, human and Velnari families were having dinner together. They shared stories about their homeworlds. Velnari told tales of crystal cities that sang in the wind. Humans told stories of Earth's blue oceans and green forests. Captain Lee Tae-min watched all this with satisfaction. His decision to help the refugees was working out better than anyone had hoped. The two species were not just living together, they were helping each other grow stronger. But the good news didn't last long. One morning, Ambassador Theknor returned. His face appeared on every screen in the colony at the same time. He looked even angrier than before. "Humans of New Sol," he said, "you have had 6 months to turn over the Velnari criminals. Instead, you have helped them build weapons." Lee Taemin was in a meeting with Elder Cathara when the broadcast began. They both stopped talking and watched. "We have evidence," Theknor continued, "that the Velnari are using human neural patterns to create unstable energy fields. This is exactly the kind of dangerous technology that got them exiled." The ambassador held up a device that showed energy readings from the colony. The readings looked scary on the screen. Wild patterns of power flowing between human and Velnari areas. "The Galactic Confederation demands that all humans end contact with the Velnari immediately. The criminals must surrender within 7 days, or the Confederation will consider humanity to be helping terrorists." The broadcast ended. Elder Cathara looked sad and tired. "Captain, maybe my people should leave. We have brought you enough trouble." Lee Taemin shook his head. "The only trouble here is the Confederation's fear of things they don't understand." That evening, Lee Taemin called another colony council meeting. This time, the debate was shorter. The council members had seen the changes in their community. They had seen human and Velnari children playing together. They had seen families helping each other. Dr. Park So-jin presented her research to the council. "The energy fields Ambassador Theknor calls dangerous are actually helping both our species. We're stronger together than apart." Kim Dong-woo showed them the new power systems. "With Velnari technology and human cooperation, we can build things neither species could make alone." The vote was close, but clear. New Sol would not surrender the Velnari. Lee Taemin sent a message to the Galactic Confederation. "Ambassador Theknor, the Velnari people are under Earth's protection. We have investigated your claims and found them to be false. The Velnari are not building weapons. They are building a new kind of life with us." He paused, then continued. "If the Confederation wants to consider humanity an enemy for helping refugees, then we accept that choice. But we will not abandon people who need our help." When the message was sent, the command center was quiet. Everyone knew this decision would change everything. Humanity had just chosen the Velnari over the entire galactic community. Elder Cathara found Lee Taemin later that night. The tall crystal being stood quietly for a moment before speaking. "Captain, why did your people choose us? You barely know us." Lee Taemin looked out at the lights of the mixed settlement. Human and Velnari families were still sharing dinner, still working together, still building something new. "Because knowing someone isn't about how long you've been friends," he said. "It's about understanding who they really are. And we understand that you're good people who need help." Elder Cathara's crystal features seemed to glow brighter. "Then we will show you that your faith was not misplaced." Neither of them knew that their decision would soon be tested in ways they couldn't imagine. 1 year after the Velnari arrived, New Sol had become something special. The cooperation between humans and Velnari had created technology that amazed everyone. Clean energy flowed through the cities. Medical treatments that helped both species were healing people faster than ever before. Art and music mixed human and Velnari styles in beautiful ways. Admiral Han Jae-sung arrived from Earth to see these miracles for himself. He was in charge of humanity's deep space fleet, and the stories he had heard seemed impossible. When he saw human children creating energy sculptures with Velnari friends, he began to believe. "Captain Lee," he said, "Earth's government wants to expand this partnership. We're thinking about inviting more Velnari refugees to other human worlds." Lee Taemin, now promoted to Admiral himself, smiled. "The Velnari would like that. But we need to be careful. The Galactic Confederation is still angry with us." That's when the deep space monitoring stations detected something that changed everything. Captain Yu. Jin was on duty at Monitoring Station 7 when the first readings came in. Strange energy signatures were moving in from the edge of the galaxy. They were huge and getting closer. "Admiral Han, you need to see this," she called over the communication system. The readings showed objects the size of moons moving through space. They weren't natural. They had structure and purpose. But they weren't like any ships anyone had ever seen. Dr. Park So-jin studied the data with growing worry. "These things are consuming entire star systems. Look at these readings from the rim worlds. The images were terrifying. Whole solar systems were going dark. Planets, moons, even the stars themselves were being broken apart and absorbed by the moving objects. Velnari Elder Kithara went very still when she saw the readings. Her crystal face lost its usual glow. "Elder?" Admiral Lee asked. "Do you know what these are?" "The Devourers," she whispered. "We thought they were just stories our ancestors told. Machines from the deep past that eat everything they find." A new character joined the discussion, Velnari strategist Corthane. He was very old even for a Velnari, and had served in their military before the exile. His knowledge of ancient threats was greater than anyone else's. "The legends say the Devourers destroyed the galaxy once before," Corthane explained. "That was millions of years ago. Our ancestors and others fought them and won, but barely. The knowledge of how to fight them was supposed to be kept safe." "Where is that knowledge now?" Admiral Han asked. Corthane looked at Elder Kithara with sadness. "The Confederation has it. When they exiled us, they took all our ancient records. They said we were too dangerous to keep such information. The situation became clear. The galaxy's best defense against the Devourers had been destroyed by fear and prejudice. Captain Yu Hye-jin had been promoted to lead the test flights of new human Velnari ships. These vessels used the cooperative energy that Dr. Park So-jin had discovered. They were faster and stronger than anything either species had built alone. "Admiral, the Confederation fleets are getting destroyed out there," she reported after her latest patrol. "Their weapons can't hurt the Devourers. The energy just gets absorbed and used against them." The reports coming in from the galaxy were getting worse every day. The Confederation's proud fleets were being torn apart. Entire species were running from their homeworlds. Panic was spreading faster than the Devourers themselves. Then something unexpected happened. Ambassador Theknor contacted New Sol again, but this time he didn't look angry. He looked afraid. "Humans," he said, "the Confederation needs your help. Our fleets cannot stop these machines. We know the Velnari were working on defenses before their exile. We may have made a mistake." Admiral Lee looked at Elder Kethera before answering. She nodded slowly. "Ambassador, what kind of help are you asking for?" "Everything. Ships, technology, knowledge. The Devourers will reach the core worlds in 18 months. If we cannot stop them, everything we have built will be destroyed." It was the same Confederation that had threatened to exile humanity for helping refugees. The same government that had scattered the Velnari and destroyed their research. Now they were begging for help. Elder Kethera spoke directly to Theknor. "Ambassador, my people were trying to rebuild our ancestors' shield technology. You called it weapons development. You scattered our scientists and sealed our records." Theknor's golden scales seemed to dim. "We were afraid. Your energy manipulation abilities seemed dangerous. We thought you might use them against us. And now the galaxy pays for that fear," Corthane said quietly. Dr. Park So-jin had been working frantically since the Devourers were discovered. She had been studying every piece of ancient Velnari technology she could find. With her friend Dr. Choi Young-mi, she had made some progress. "I think I understand what the ancestors built," she announced to the leadership meeting. "It wasn't a weapon at all. It was a shield that could absorb energy and reflect it back. But it only works with the human Velnari neural connection we discovered." Kim Dongwoo had been working with Lyrian and other Velnari engineers. "We can build small versions now. The test prototypes work against energy weapons. But to stop something as big as the Devourers, we'd need huge shields and many bonded human Velnari crews." The irony was bitter. The galaxy had exiled the Velnari for developing the exact technology that could save everyone. And that technology only worked because of the partnership with humans that the Confederation had tried to destroy. Admiral Lee called a meeting with all the human and Velnari leaders. The question was simple but huge. Should they help the people who had tried to destroy them? "They wanted to exile us along with the Velnari," said one human counselor. "Why should we risk our lives for them?" "Because that's not who we are," Elder Kethar replied. "My people learned the cost of holding grudges. Fear and anger almost destroyed the galaxy once. We cannot let it happen again." Young Captain Yu Hee-jin had been quiet during the meeting but finally spoke up. "The Devourers don't care about politics. They'll destroy human worlds just as easily as Confederation worlds. This isn't about helping our enemies, it's about saving everyone." The decision wasn't easy, but it was clear. Humanity would help defend the galaxy, but they would do it their way, with the Velnari as equal partners, not as exiles or prisoners. Admiral Lee sent a message to Ambassador Theknor and the Confederation Council. "We will help you fight the Devourers, but the Velnari are our allies, not your criminals. If you want our help, you work with both of us as equals." The response came quickly. The Confederation, facing total destruction, agreed to everything. As the combined fleets began to gather at New Sol, Admiral Lee stood with Elder Kethara and watched the ships arrive. Human vessels flew alongside Velnari ships with crews from both species working together. "Do you think we can win?" Elder Kethara asked. Admiral Lee watched Captain Yu Hee-jin's mixed crew preparing their ship for battle. Human and Velnari working side by side, their minds connected in ways that made them stronger than the sum of their parts. "I don't know if we can win," he said, "but I know we're going to try. And if we do win, it'll be because we chose cooperation over fear." The Devourers were still coming. The largest fleet in galactic history was gathering to meet them. And at the center of it all was a partnership that had started with one simple human decision: to help strangers who needed sanctuary. The real test was still ahead. The greatest fleet in galactic history gathered around New Sol. Ships from dozens of species filled the space near the planet. But everyone knew the real power lay in the strange partnership between humans and Velnari. General Nam Ki-young had been chosen to coordinate the multi-species defense. She was a small woman with a big voice and an ability to make different alien species work together. It wasn't easy. "The Zephyrians want to attack head-on," she told Admiral Lee during their daily briefing. "The hegemony species prefer defensive positions, and the Velnari want to build giant shields around entire star systems." "What do you want to do?" Admiral Lee asked. "I want to test our new technology before we bet everything on it." Dr. Park Sojin and her team had been working day and night. The shield generators were ready, but they were unlike anything ever built. Each one required a bonded human Velnari crew to operate. The bonding process was strange and not always successful. "It's not just working together," explained Dr. Choi Young-mi to a group of volunteers. "Your minds have to connect in a way that lets you share thoughts and energy. Some people can do it easily, others can't do it at all." The first volunteers were the people who had been working together on New Sol. Kim Dong-woo and Lyrian were among the first successful pairs. Captain Yu Hye-jin bonded with a young Velnari pilot named Sinthara. Dr. Park So-jin herself bonded with Elder Kethara. The bonding process was beautiful but difficult. When it worked, the human and Velnari could feel each other's thoughts and emotions. They became stronger and faster together. But when it failed, both people felt confused and sick. "We need more bonded pairs," General Nam told the assembled fleet commanders. "The Devourers are only 3 months away. We have maybe 50 working teams. We need hundreds." Ambassador Ro Sung-min had been working with the Confederation species, trying to convince them to trust the Human-Velnari alliance. It was hard work. Many species still thought the Velnari were dangerous. "They exiled us for this exact technology," Elder Kethara reminded the Confederation Council during one heated meeting. "Now you want us to use it to save you." "We made mistakes," admitted Ambassador Theknor. His pride was clearly hurt, but his fear was stronger. "The Devourers have destroyed 12 systems in the past month. We need your shields." The first real test came when Devourer scouts reached the outer systems. These were smaller than the main machines, but still huge, each one the size of a large space station. Captain Yu Hye-jin led the first shield ship squadron into battle. Her ship looked different from normal vessels. It had crystal growths along the hull where Velnari technology merged with human engineering. The crew of 12 included 6 humans and 6 Velnari, all bonded in pairs. "Shields active," reported Sinthara, her Velnari partner. "Energy flow is stable." The Devourer scout fired first. A beam of pure energy that had destroyed entire Confederation fleets struck Yu Hye-jin's ship. The shield absorbed the blast and held. "Shield strength at 100%. Kim Dong-woo reported from the engineering station. "Actually, it's at 110%. The shield is getting stronger." The shield wasn't just blocking the Devourer's weapons, it was feeding on them. Every attack made the protection stronger, and when the shield reached maximum power, it reflected the energy back at the attacker. The reflected beam struck the Devourer scout and tore through its hull. The ancient machine, which had seemed unstoppable, broke apart and went dark. "It works," Yu Hye-jin shouted over the communication system. "The shields actually work." The success brought new problems. Every species in the Confederation wanted access to the shield technology. Delegations arrived at New Seoul demanding to be included in the bonding program. Our neural patterns are different, Dr. Choi Young-mi explained to a group of frustrated alien diplomats. We've tested dozens of species. Only humans and Velnari can create the connection needed for the shields. Some species accepted this. Others became angry. A few even suggested taking human and Velnari prisoners to force them to operate shields for other fleets. General Nam had to post guards around the bonding centers. Anyone who threatens our people gets removed from the system, she announced. We're here to help, not to be enslaved. But the bigger problem was time. More Devourer scouts were approaching, and behind them came reports of the main fleet. The ancient machines had grown during their journey. Some were now the size of small moons. We have maybe 60 bonded pairs, Admiral Lee told the War Council. Intelligence says we're facing thousands of Devourers. Velnari scientist El Thara, who was Elder Kithara's daughter, had been studying her people's ancient records. She brought hope mixed with fear. The ancestors faced similar numbers, she reported, but they had millions of bonded pairs and shields that covered entire star systems. We have weeks to prepare, not generations. The solution came from an unexpected source. The children who had been playing together on New Seoul had grown up during the year of preparation. Now they were teenagers and they volunteered for the bonding program. We've been connecting with each other since we were little, said Park Min-ho, a human teenager. This feels natural to us. His Velnari friend Velara nodded agreement. The adults make it seem hard. For us, it's just like thinking together. Dr. Park Sojin tested the young volunteers and was amazed. They bonded faster and stronger than any adult pairs. Their shields were more powerful and more stable. They've been unconsciously practicing for years, she realized. All that playing together trained their minds for this. Within weeks, the volunteer program expanded across human and Velnari space. Young people who had grown up together became the backbone of the defense fleet. Their parents were worried but proud. The main Devourer fleet was detected 2 weeks before it would reach the first inhabited systems. The readings were terrifying. Hundreds of massive machines, each one capable of destroying a planet. But humanity and the Velnari had built something the galaxy had never seen. A fleet where 2 species fought as one. The shield ships gleamed with crystal and metal. Crewed by people whose minds and hearts were linked across the stars. Admiral Lee stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the final preparations. Dr. Park Sojin was beside him, connected to Elder Kithara in the deep bond they had perfected. Are we ready? He asked. Through their connection, Elder Kithara's voice came from Dr. Park's lips. We are as ready as we can be. The ancestors would be proud. General Nam's voice came over the fleet communication system. All ships, this is command. The Devourers will be here in 6 hours. Remember, we're not just fighting for our own worlds. We're fighting for the idea that different people can work together. We're fighting for the future. Captain Yu Hyejin checked her instruments one last time. Around her, 5 other bonded pairs prepared their stations. Throughout the fleet, hundreds of human Velnari teams did the same. The Devourers were coming. But for the first time in millions of years, the galaxy was truly united to meet them. And at the heart of that unity was a simple human choice: to help strangers who had nowhere else to go. The final battle was about to begin. The Devourers came out of deep space like a storm of metal and hunger. Each machine was the size of a city, covered in weapons that could tear apart planets. They moved in perfect formation, hundreds of them blocking out the stars behind them. Fleet Admiral Lee Taemin watched from his command ship as the greatest battle in galactic history began. Around him, thousands of vessels from dozens of species prepared to fight. But everyone knew the real hope lay with the shield ships, the strange hybrid vessels crewed by bonded humans and Velnari. All shield ships. This is Admiral Lee, show them what we've learned. Captain Park Sojin, now commanding the flagship shield systems, felt Elder Kithara's mind merge with hers. Together they were stronger than either could be alone. Around the ship, the crystalline shield generators began to glow. Captain Yu Hyejin led the first wave of shield ships into battle. Her squadron of 12 vessels looked tiny compared to the approaching Devourers. But when the ancient machines fired their world-killing weapons, something amazing happened. The shields caught the energy and held it. Every beam, every blast, every destructive force the Devourers had used to destroy civilizations. All of it was absorbed and stored. Shield strength increasing, reported Synthara, Yuhejin's Velnari partner. Energy at maximum capacity. Then let's give it back to them, Yuhejin said with a fierce smile. The shields released their stored energy in focused beams that struck the lead devourer. The ancient machine, which had seemed unstoppable, cracked and broke apart. Its pieces drifted dark and silent in space. A cheer went up from the Allied fleet. But the victory didn't last long. The devourers adapted quickly, just as the legends said they would. Instead of firing at the shield ships, they began targeting the normal vessels around them. Squadron leader Kim Dong-woo watched in horror as a Confederation cruiser was torn apart by devourer fire. The shield ships could protect themselves, but they couldn't protect everyone. "We need to get closer," he told his Velnari partner Lyrian. "The shields work better at short range." "That's very dangerous," Lyrian replied through their mental link. "If a shield fails, then we trust each other to make it work." Kim Dong-woo's ship dove toward the largest devourer, weaving through enemy fire. Other shield ships followed, their human Velnari crews working in perfect harmony. At close range, their shields could extend to protect nearby vessels. The battle became a deadly dance. Shield ships darted between the massive devourers, protecting other vessels and reflecting energy back at the enemy. But there were so many devourers and only a few hundred shield ships. Admiral Lee watched the tactical display with growing worry. "We're losing too many regular ships. The devourers are focusing fire on anything that can't shield itself." That's when the young volunteers made their choice. Park Min-ho and his Velnari partner Velara were among the youngest crews in the fleet. Their ship was smaller and faster than the others. "Admiral, request permission to try something." Min-ho's voice came over the communication system. "What do you have in mind?" "The devourers are targeting the big ships because they're threats. What if we make ourselves the biggest threat?" Before anyone could stop them, Min-ho and Velara's ship flew straight toward the center of the devourer formation. Their shields were at maximum power, glowing so brightly they could be seen across the battlefield. Every devourer turned to fire at them. Hundreds of energy beams struck their small ship. The shields absorbed it all, growing brighter and stronger. "Now!" Min-ho shouted. The little ship released all its stored energy at once. The blast was so powerful it destroyed 3 devourers and damaged dozens more. But the effort burned out their shield generators. Min-ho and Velara's ship drifted powerless in space. Other young crews followed their example. Small shield ships flew into the heart of the enemy formation, absorbing massive amounts of energy and reflecting it back. Many didn't survive, but each sacrifice destroyed multiple devourers. Dr. Park So-jin felt every loss through her connection with Elder Cathara. The pain was almost too much to bear. "There has to be another way." Elder Cathara's ancient wisdom flowed through their bond. "There is, but it requires the ultimate sacrifice," Dr. Park So-jin understood. The shield generators could be overloaded completely, creating a feedback pulse that would destroy everything within a huge area. But the ship creating the pulse would be destroyed too. "I'll do it," she told Admiral Lee. "No," he replied firmly. "I won't order anyone to die. You're not ordering me. I'm volunteering." Elder Cathara's voice came through Dr. Park's lips. "My people have lived with shame for too long. Let us end this with honor." Admiral Lee looked at the tactical display. The devourers were still coming, still destroying ships faster than the shields could protect them. The pulse might turn the tide, but it would cost 2 of his dearest friends. "Do it," he said quietly. Dr. Park So-jin and Elder Cathara's ship flew toward the largest group of devourers. Their shield absorbed attack after attack, storing more energy than any generator was designed to hold. "It's been an honor serving with you all," Dr. Park said over the fleet communication system. The ship's generators overloaded in a brilliant flash of light. The feedback pulse tore through space, destroying 50 devourers in a single blast. The shockwave scattered the enemy formation and gave the Allied fleet time to regroup. Other bonded pairs saw what had happened and made the same choice. Across the battlefield, shield ships created feedback pulses that carved holes in the devourer fleet. Each sacrifice destroyed dozens of the ancient machines. Captain Yu Hee-jin wept as she watched her friends die. But she kept fighting, kept protecting other ships, kept showing the galaxy what humans and Velnari could do together. The tide of battle slowly turned. The devourers, for all their power, couldn't adapt to the sacrifice and courage of the bonded crews. One by one, the ancient machines were destroyed or disabled. When the last devourer went dark, The surviving fleet hung in space, exhausted and grieving. They had won, but the cost had been terrible. Half the shield ships were gone, along with their brave crews. Admiral Lee stood in his command center, looking at the casualty reports. So many young people had died. So many friends were gone, but they had saved the galaxy. In the months that followed, everything changed. The Galactic Confederation dissolved, replaced by something new, the Terran-Velnari Alliance. It was a union based on cooperation instead of fear, partnership instead of dominance. Species that had been enemies worked together to rebuild. The shield technology was shared freely, but only humans and Velnari could operate it. This made them valuable partners instead of conquered subjects. Years later, Captain Kim Dong-woo, now an old man, sat in a park on New Seoul. Around him, human and Velnari children played together, creating energy sculptures that danced in the air. The sculptures could only be made by the two species working together. Beautiful art that was also a symbol of their partnership. A young human girl ran up to him, her Velnari friend beside her. "Mr. Kim, will you tell us the story again? About the Devourers and the shield ships?" Kim Dong-woo smiled. "Which part do you want to hear?" "The part about why the humans helped the Velnari in the beginning, when everyone else said they were dangerous." Kim Dong-woo looked up at the sky, where human and Velnari ships flew together on routine patrols. Because that's what humans do. When someone needs help, we help them, even if they're different, even if it's dangerous, even if other people say we shouldn't. The Velnari child's crystal features glowed with curiosity. But why? Kim Dong-woo thought about Admiral Lee's first decision to grant sanctuary. He thought about Dr. Park So-jin's sacrifice. He thought about all the young crews who had given their lives to save strangers. Because, he said finally, helping others is what makes us strong. Not our weapons or our ships or our technology, our willingness to stand up for people who can't stand up for themselves. The children nodded solemnly, then ran off to play. Their energy sculptures filled the park with light and beauty, a reminder of what could be accomplished when different people chose to work together. Above them, the stars shone down on a galaxy that had learned an important lesson. Fear and prejudice had almost destroyed everything, but compassion and cooperation had saved them all. And it had started with one simple human choice: to offer sanctuary to strangers who had nowhere else to go.